Well, next up's going to be race number 3. It's the Franschhoek Motor Museum Winchester Sprint Cup. It's always a cracking race, this as well, and another very exciting field lined up for you. Racing just tends to get better as the afternoon progresses, but so too do my guests. And it really is a privilege now to have Graham Motion here with me. A lot of you will remember the name because Graham is the trainer in the US responsible for Beach Bomb and Isivunguvungu. And welcome to sunny Cape Town.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, first time in South Africa. I know you haven't been here that long, but what have you made of what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's spectacular. We just arrived at the race course, but it's beautiful. And, we saw some of the stallions out at Drakenstein yesterday, which is just a beautiful farm.
It is stunning, isn't it? And you walk around there and you see some of the stallions, some of the best stallions that South Africa has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I was particularly impressed with One World, who I believe has a runner today in the big race.
Yeah, favourite.
He's a gorgeous horse. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Graham, talk to us a little bit about the South African horses that you looked after for Breeders' Cup. Obviously, Beach Bomb for Gaynor and Isivunguvungu for the Hollywood Syndicate. Both of them who really handled themselves well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Isivunguvungu was a little unlucky. Yeah. He didn't have a perfect trip. He got knocked about a little bit inside the last furlong. I think with a clean trip, he probably hits the board, finishes third or fourth anyway. He had a little break. They both actually had a little break after the Breeders' Cup. But we're hoping to take him to Dubai in the spring.
Okay, brilliant. And the filly, what plans?
The filly's similar, and we gave her a little. It's quite a tough trip to California for us from the East Coast, so we gave them both a bit of a break after the race. She just made the trip down to Florida, which is about a 20-hour van ride, but in much better weather than we're having up north. So she'll probably make a start here in about 60 days.
Okay, fantastic. And they've done well. They actually obviously acclimatizing a bit more now.
I'm really surprised how well they've done. It was a very tough quarantine for them. They did 60 days, really didn't get out of the boxes very much. But they've both handled it really well, and they've shown they're very competitive.
I think that was what was so encouraging for the South African enthusiast. These horses can actually go over there and they can be competitive in some of your big races.
No doubt about it. I mean, Beach Bomb was third in a graded race. Isivunguvungu won a pretty nice listed race leading up to the Breeders' Cup. So no, they've been very competitive. I also have a filly called Golden Hostess for Gaynor, who was also listed placed. So they've held their own very well.
Yeah, she was gold standard, I think.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. Now you also, obviously your name as a trainer also goes back to Animal Kingdom, who you did some great stuff with.
Yeah, fantastic horse. We were lucky enough to win the Kentucky Derby with him. I have to say Derby because...
Derby.
and then he went on to win the Dubai World Cup, which was really just a dream. So the traveling to me is what makes racing so special, and coming to events like this, it's spectacular.
How did he eventually end up in Australia?
So John Massara bought into Animal Kingdom, as did Sheikh Mohammed. So he spent half his time in the States and half his time in Australia, and he now actually stands in Japan.
Okay, fantastic. So he's also good around.
Yeah.
Well, Graham, the runners for the next race are going to be making their way in. I really wish you the most enjoyable day here with us. It's lovely to have you in South Africa, and hopefully we get to see a bit more of you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great stuff. That's Graham Motion, who did such a wonderful job with the South African flag bearers, both Beach Bomb and Isivunguvungu.